guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Hello, we're back, and some people been wondering where we've been. It don't matter, cause right now it's happening. Same station, new day and time slot. Content forever is flowing, we won't stop. Providing remedies for chemical brain freeze. And teaching reboot, stressing you believe. We're two bald guys and a microphone. We're glad to be back, it feels good to be home.
There we are. Two bald guys and a microphone. Yeah, that's when the music stops. That's your cue to say, "Welcome into two
bald guys
and a microphone."
Is that time already?
2024, of course, our first show ever. Obviously. Big shout out to our good friends, long-time supporters, Natural Therapy Wellness Center, www.mchenrymassage.com. Give them a call, 815-385-8190. You're stressed after the holiday season, excited, nervous, and your muscles are sore now because you've been at the gym for 2 days. Give John and his team a call. They've got reflexology, acupuncture, you name it. They'll take care of you. If you are stressed, they'll help you be blessed. Natural Therapy Wellness Center. One of the best out there. Of course, our good friends over at JH Events and Flowers. JH Events and Flowers, for all your floral needs, for your man cave ideas, for everything that you possibly can think of.
For your daughter's wedding?
For your daughter's wedding. Two great locations now, one over in Fox Lake, right across from the train station, and the one here in McHenry, JH Flower Events and Flowers. Good stuff.
Amen.
Yeah. Okay, let's try something else here. Yeah, keep going. You're good.
Well, New Year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. 2023 is gone. I couldn't be happier it's gone. The year of the quadruple bypass, my brother passing away. A lot of good things happened, but this was a challenging year for me, and I am ready to open a brand new book on 2024. And speaking of brand new book, I've followed your lead. I have my 2024 planner.
There you go. I think we got it scrolling. There it is. Now it's scrolling. We're good. Yeah. So you went back to paper.
You're my hero. I follow your lead, and it just makes a lot of sense.
I got an Apple tablet. Apple tablet.
It's an Apple tablet.
Yeah,
it's a Ross special.
I just had to figure out what worked. Phil Nasrino, good morning. Our good friend Eric Bam, good morning. What day is it? Hump day, pizza day, right? Eric, congratulations too. Through the holidays, got married. Beautiful bride, and absolutely love that guy. Doing great things. And our good friend Ted.
Were your ears ringing? We were talking about you in the green room, Ted.
Yep. Excited, Ted. We're going to see some good things from Legal Legacy Home and Business. Maybe a show, maybe some sponsorships. He's doing a lot of good things, which is great. 2024 also brings in the other bald guy.
Oh, it is Damon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, use that one, bro.
Good morning. Good morning. What's up, everybody?
All the way in from Lake County, Illinois. Happy New Year, brother. How are you?
Happy New Year.
Good
Doing well.
Doing well. You look good. You shaved though.
Yeah.
Got rid of the goat, the heavy goat.
The heavy goat had to go.
Yeah, I get it. That's all right. Good stuff as always today. And starting off the new year, we're going to talk a little bit about habits. Is there such a thing as a bad habit? Is there such thing as a bad habit? And we're kind of laying a foundation here for a neat surprise that should be coming out in the next 2 or 3 weeks about reboot and habits and good things. So just laying that out there. So good morning, everyone. Ted says, well, that was Luke, the sticker dude. Good morning.
Sticker dude.
All the way
Luke.
from the Sunshine State. Good morning, everyone. Great year so far. Signed a new business this morning. There you go. And good morning, the sticker dude down there in the Sunshine State now. And Toby, how are you, man? My favorite radio dudes, of course. Check him out
Rocking it
too.
this
He's
morning.
got some great things going. It's 5:00 somewhere. Check it out. It's a cool thing that Toby's put together. Wish I could help him out more, but we'll get him on and when it's time. Today is Carol Sanders. Good morning. Today is day 1003 of what? Persecution trial began. I don't know what that is. The assistant. I don't know what that is. Okay, Carol. But I don't know that is. I don't. All right. But good luck, I guess. Good luck.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, we miss you too. Yeah. When you're up here, give us a call. Stop by. Anything we can do to help you out or grab a cup of coffee would be awesome. Yeah. Oh, COVID protest case. Okay. Well, good for the COVID protest case. Good luck. I guess. I don't know.
To be clear, Carol, this show we really don't get into political stances or any things that God bless you. I'm sure you're really involved in what you're doing.
Yeah. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. Speaking of habits. Is there such thing as a bad habit?
I'll defer to Damon.
Well, according to my son, there is a such thing as bad habits.
Yeah.
So I asked him if he wanted to come this morning, and he's like, "Well, what are you guys talking about? Am I going to be bored?" I said, "Well, being bored is up to you. Like,
That's right.
Are you boring or are you not boring?
Right.
It's up to you." But I told him what we were talking about. And he's like, "Well, of course there are." I said, "Well, why do you say that?" He said, "Well, like if you're doing drugs or, if you're committing crimes that habitually, those are bad habits." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So according to my son, there are bad habits.
Yeah.
According to Damon,
are there bad habits? It's hard to say. Depends on how you define
bad.
bad habits. Yeah, all of those things. Because if you look at the word habit in and of itself, it's just the repeating of an activity or something. So are habits bad? The activities for your habits are bad because our habits are what we do in order for us to feel good, feel safe, feel protected, advance. All of our actions are based on that.
Yeah. So
are the actions you're using to get that to accomplish that, those are bad. So habits themselves, I don't know. I know it's a little deep and philosophical, but that's what I do.
Yeah. What's your thought?
Well, my thought, habits are driven subconsciously. If you've done any look into the subconscious doesn't define between good and bad. It just is.
Right.
So the subconscious, where our habits lay, our alligator mind, whatever you want to call it, it just is. It's something that you repeat often enough, and it's helped you to survive. It's a survival technique.
Yep.
You mentioned happiness. Is smoking a bad habit? Well, your brain is thinking, I need the nicotine. So inside your brain, it is not. It may be bad for you, but the habit itself, or I don't believe there's a bad habit. Habits are a way of repeating things.
So, let's define habit then. What is a habit?
It's something a nun wears on a daily basis.
It is true. Boom. The defined habit.
Well, I mean, like I said before, habit is just something that you do, repetitively.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes it can be unconscious. Sometimes it is something we do consciously, but it's something that it's like a routine, something we do on a consistent basis for a purpose. And again, sometimes some of those habits are things that were created because we needed to do something in that survival mind, in a survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we get, later in life, sometimes we don't need to do that thing anymore, but because we've created a habit of doing that because we're thinking we need to protect ourselves at all time. I need to survive. It becomes something that becomes habitual, meaning we do it over and over.
So Merriam-Webster, our good friend.
Hello, Merriam.
will define habit as a noun, not a verb. Interesting. A settled tendency or usual manner of behavior. Her habit of taking a morning walk. An acquired mode of behavior that has become nearly or completely involuntary. Got up early from force of habit.
Force.
Addiction. A behavior is a drug habit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Behavior pattern acquired by frequent repetition or psychologic exposure that shows itself in regularity or increased facility of performance. A costume, characteristic of a calling, rank, or function. A nun's habit. Oh, go back up. So the psychologic exposure that shows itself regularity or increased facility of performance. The daily bowel habit. Got a habit of pooping every day.
Yeah.
A costume, characteristic of a calling, rank, or function. A nun's habit. A costume wore for horseback riding. Clothing, manner of conducting oneself, bearing, bodily appearance or makeup. A man of fleshly habit. So there's a bunch of different habits. Now, if it's a verb, to cover with or as with clothing, she habited herself in peculiarly, it's easy for you to say,
Yep.
becoming dress of white linen. The nature of such pendatory to habit itself is harsh. So habit is a noun, and I think we see habit a lot as a verb, right? That's a bad habit, meaning the action is perhaps bad, right? Your body, let's see what Ted says. I think there is definitely bad habits. Good habits affect your life in a good way if you do them. Bad habits affect your life in a bad way. Okay, so there definitely is bad habits, Ted says. So,
well, the effect of the habit is bad, or the effect of the habit is good. But is the habit good or bad? The habit is simply the act of repeating a thing over and over again until it goes into automatic.
The habit of breathing is not a bad habit unless you're underwater.
Good point.
Then it's a bad habit.
Yeah.
Unless you have a scuba tank on, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Without a breathing apparatus.
Yeah.
The habit of growing a beard is not a bad habit unless you're a woman.
Or you can't grow a beard.
right? Unless you're a woman. Right. So the habit of just growing hair is not necessarily a bad habit unless it's on your back and in your ears. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think, to me, I don't believe there are bad habits. But what we've done as a society is we've taken the word habit instead of saying the reward for the urge is bad. Smoking, that's a bad habit. Well, no, the habit is your body is craving something.
Right.
You've taken that craving to say cigarette, nicotine, right? Yeah. So the habit of your body craving, let's say it's vitamin A. I don't know what causes people to smoke, right? I'm just saying, is that all of a sudden, boom, I can smoke when we go on man camp. I'll take my pipe. I'll smoke all weekend. I'll hurt my lungs. I'll hurt my throat. And then I'm done.
Liver, your kidney.
And then I'm done. Right. And I've got buddies who haven't smoked for years. Like, how do you do that? I'm like, what do you mean? I don't have a habit of it.
Right.
Right. And so my body, my body's sore, tired, and like, what did you do to me? Right. But you're out in the woods and that's man camp. Right. But there are people who have addictive, and say, oh, I can't, I haven't smoked for 18 years. If I start smoking now, oh my God, if I just had one, it would start me all over. Right. So I think we've replaced habits with the unfortunate part of the reward for what your body is wanting, the endorphin rush. Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what your body is looking for, is something of that nature. So here's what a lot of people have done. Hey, Christine, good morning. If you need to clean a scene, call Christine. Of course, right up over Damon's right shoulder to your left, you're going to see, look at the elves are still up there.
Oh, yeah,
We're twinning. They're right up there. Rudy, the Restoration One elf, still getting props after the holidays, Christine. Let's make sure we notice that and give them a shout out, Restoration One. Rick, how are you, brother? Chewing fingernails is a habit. Yes.
True indeed.
And perhaps your spouse's fingernails is a bad habit. Right. And of course, Rick, we'll see you tomorrow. Rick, one of the hosts of Roger That Chronicles, 11 a.m. Every other Thursday. So yeah. Now, here's the deal. I think is we have to understand that habits are good. I think your body creates habits to stay alive. You have a habit of breathing. You have a habit of your heart beating. You have a habit of this. But again, we don't understand how to manage the urge of what the habit is asking for. Right? So a lot of people will replace feelings with the habit of eating. Right?
Yes.
The body, I'm sad or whatever. So there's a lot of chemicals and emotions going on, guys. And what happens is I gotta fill this with something.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's eat this bag of family-sized Doritos.
Yeah.
Right.
And if it feels good,
right.
then we're going to repeat that.
Correct.
But even if it feels bad, we repeat it. I don't know. Did you ever smoke?
No.
I have never met a person who took their first cigarette and went,
Yeah. Ooh, the cool minty taste of cool.
right? But eventually they work through that. And
Well, first of all, let's be honest. You smoke because it's cool.
And that's what I was going to say. So you're right. The personal, internal, physical feeling, but that feeling of being in the cool crowd and people looking at you like you're cool. That was the good feeling. Like I'm one of the cool ones now. And so that's the feeling that they were looking for initially. And then, like you said, the bad feeling as far as the cigarette, it's like, which one carried more weight?
you drink scotch, am I right?
Yeah.
Your first shot of scotch.
Smooth. Smooth. Oh, that's good.
We do it again anyway. Right? So it doesn't make you feel good in the beginning.
Shayna, good morning. Let's see what is your expert advice of changing these habits? I'm glad you asked.
Well,
I'm glad you asked. We're going to get to that here in a minute. We are geared to misery with energy. Habits are shortcuts, often to benefits unearned. It's magic. Yeah.
okay.
No, and I like where she's going with that, and that's kind of what I'm saying is there's a habit of my body needs something, right? I'm sad. I need something. I need that endorphin rush. I'm looking for an endorphin rush.
Right.
Now, a glass of water will give your body endorphins, right? It'll give you that dopamine rush, right? That's what we're really looking for, is that little shot of dopamine to pick us up, right? And when there's a habit in your body saying, I need something, we're looking for a little dopamine shot. So we say that bag of Doritos, that cigarette, whatever it is, gives me that little dopamine shot that I think that my body's looking for. Okay. How many times, cutting out sugar is one of the hardest things that I've ever done.
Yes,
right?
It's very hard.
And then over the holidays, I ate sugar, man. I ate cookies. I ain't gonna lie, right? You can't. My family's baking cookies. There's things everywhere. People are dropping them off at the station. Oh, yeah, some turtles. You're just like, oh God, I'm not gonna touch these. Oh, just one, right? and all of a sudden, my joints ache again. There's things that sugar does to a body that I had forgotten about. But I'm like, I don't care. After the new year, I'll reset, right? My arthritis flares up, things hurt because of the sugar, right? And my body's just not used to it. what comes out of my body is different because of the sugar, right? Because it had been since May since I had sugar, right? Now, and I went ham on it, man. I ain't gonna lie, I killed that. But that's the habit isn't necessarily the shortcut, I think, but the reward, what you reward, what your body's craving, or why you think you need that habit is the shortcut, right? Yeah. So if your body needs a dopamine rush, we go, man, let me have a little bit of sugar. There's my dopamine, and away I go, right? However, if I were just to go, you know what, I could drink some water and watch Caitlin Clark play basketball, and then my dopamine would be there again. But I go, easier just to have a row of Oreo double stuff. Yeah. Right. Because you can't just eat one.
Yeah. We're always looking for the easy button.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so a lot of the habits that we call bad are a result of convenience or ease.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm working on dropping sugar as much as I can in my diet. I agree. It can be hard to do. Yes, it can, but it's not. Great show. Thank you. We'll keep coming back to that about every 3 minutes. Great show. Thanks, Dave. Great show. Some doctors think flu season is actually a result of sugar season. A lot of it, stress, bad eating, staying up late. The flu is basically your body just wore down. And
nutritionally, one article or several articles I read that support it say your immune system shuts down almost 20 minutes after eating sugar because your body has to work so hard to fight the sugar.
Yeah,
I believe your immune system shuts down. So if you're exposed in that, you drink a can of pop, you're out bowling, you're doing whatever. Yeah, you're really pounding your immune system.
Yeah, I've heard that same thing about the sugar and why it's such an impact during the winter months, because we're sitting more, we're less active, less sun. Yeah,
Well, and we've gotten away of, well, let me have an orange. There's a lot of sugar in orange. Let me have a banana there. You know what I'm saying? We've gotten away from the natural sugars, and we're like, give me this word I can't pronounce, and I'm, it's going to fill me, which is good. So the idea, and we're going to, trust me, we're going to get to how to break these habits. And when we go through it, I've done a lot of research, and trust me when I say this on habits, and that'll, you'll understand what I'm saying here in a couple weeks, but the idea of rebooting your habits, right, is understanding that not all habits are bad, but not all habits are good, right? The way we reward those habits and things, right? And then if you perceive that you have a bad habit, and let's define a bad habit as something that's bad for your health. Can we do that?
Health of body, health of relations, health of
mind.
Yes. Yeah. Body, mind, soul.
Right. And getting through that portion is I think, is not as hard as you would imagine. Okay. And I've done it. I mean, in 2022, I challenged myself not to have a drink of alcohol. I don't have a problem with it, but I didn't drink alcohol for the entire year of 2022. It's documented here on the shows, which was, to me, cool. Do I drink? Once in a while, I may have a drink, an old fashioned or something like that, but not near like I used to.
Yeah.
Right. Because it was a habit. What I found out was the habit of going to a chamber mixer. Walk over to the open bar, get a drink. I didn't need one. That's the habit, was just
didn't really want
one. Just walk over,
Yeah.
And then, after a few months when people were starting, well, that's dumb. Why are you doing that? Why would you give that up? Whatever. You're just like, you start watching people's habits. You're like, man, you're not even networking. You're just here for the free liquor.
You're in 80% of the rest.
Right. Is this a date night? What is happening? but the habit of I wanted to read more, so I had to create a habit of reading, but not necessarily opening a book. Audiobooks, what's that habit? Do I have time in the day to sit down and open up a hardcover book? Well, if it's one that isn't on audio, I find the time, right? But otherwise, instead of listening to right wing or left wing AM radio, I would put, if I was in my car and I wasn't interested in listening to the great music that's being played at 216 or one of the great shows that are on all the time on 216, like Two Bald Guys at a Microphone. I would listen to audiobook in the car or at work or whatever, right? Because sometimes there are some shows that you can't really live stream or listen to live in an office space because sometimes hear some profanities thrown out and weird things.
I've heard that rumor.
Yeah. So because we're not FCC regulated. Good morning, Lisa. Lisa's changing perceptions. All right,
Lisa. Good morning.
That's it. So how do you guys? We're right at the bottom of the hour. How do you guys change a habit? Have you changed any habits? And what was the cause, or what helped you make that change?
Well, for me, when I think about myself or talk to other people, it's all about replacing the activity of whatever habit is for something else. And I think when we're helping other people and we're telling them to stop doing those quote unquote bad habits, the mistake that we make is not offering them something or suggesting something to replace the habit. Because again, it's about the survival or the feeling or the endorphin rushes we've been talking about. So when you want to change a habit from something that's quote unquote bad to something that's good, it's all about replacing the activity with something different, something that is going to lead to a better overall outcome.
Yeah.
And what you're describing is a little process called reboot. And the first step in the reboot, the first step in changing a habit is recognizing that this habit needs to change. There are some habits you don't need to change, or some habits that a lot of our habits benefit us. Brushing our teeth is a habit we definitely don't want to change, or at least the people around us don't want us to change. Right. But there are other habits. So the first step is recognizing that this is a habit that is affecting me negatively. Body, mind, soul. It's affecting my relationships. It's affecting my health. Yeah. And realizing we need to change. So that first step is realizing there's something's got to change, and it can't come from somebody else. I can't tell you, Damon, you got to stop this, because it just becomes a conflict, and
right.
And it breaks away. When we begin to realize it ourselves, then we can start to do something about it.
So say that again. You recognize that
the need to change.
That there's a need to change. Okay. Let's see. What is Lisa says? Exactly. A habit can't be stopped. It must be replaced. Okay. When I find myself doing something I consider a bad habit, I do that. Replace it, Ted, or I just go through with it. I'm committed 100%. Here we go. Also, greater success can come when we recognize the secondary gain we are getting from it. Interesting.
And that's why you have a great show on this station, Lisa. That's so true.
All right. So when you're saying that when you recognize the need to change something. Okay.
Let's say, for example, I'm assuming, we shouldn't make assumptions, but from your house, when you come to the station, you drive the same path.
Yeah.
Or do you have to drive that? But there are 18 different ways you can get to the station. Some will take longer, some will take. But on that day when you're coming in and there's a detour sign that says you can't go this way anymore, it creates an internal conflict. What do you mean? No. The other path might be the same time. It might be even a little quicker, but you've always done it this way. And when society or the street people say, no, you can't do that anymore, it creates a conflict. And it's the same with the habit.
Street people. can we define street people?
Construction workers.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
You being judgmental this morning?
No, I would just say it. Yeah, yes, and this is true. Health scares are the best motivator.
See, and I've I've obviously just
Chokes
been
him
through
right
a
up.
pretty major health scare with a quadruple bypass. And what I found is once I got through and my recovery was good, I fell back into some of the old ways. Some of the old, not necessarily the unhealthy ways. I'm not eating red meat. I mean, I'm not doing a lot of things. But one of them, I've gotten myself too busy again.
Oh, you don't say.
Hard to say no.
And I know that's, hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe loves a good street people.
Joe loves people, period.
That's right.
And
tacos. Street tacos are great too. Let's be honest. I wonder if the street people make the street tacos. That's it.
With street meat.
Only when you exhaust all excuses and prioritize reason. Okay.
All right, I can go with that.
So here's my take on a habit, and I don't. If you want to, you can't change habits, okay? But you can understand them. You can change the way you reward a habit, but you can't change habit. All right. One of the best things for anybody who smokes out there, when I was younger was, you get a spicy Mexican meal and then that cool menthol afterwards was fantastic. I don't even know if I like smoking. It was just, that cool menthol after a spicy meal. Why? I don't know. Right. When I stopped, when I stopped smoking, it was like, I still wanted the cool menthol. Okay. So there was a habit that was formed, right? Not recognizing that it needs to change. What you have to do is just recognize take a minute and just stop and go, why do I think I need, or why am I, right? Mm-hmm. You have to recognize the habit. Okay. Not that it necessarily has to change, because it may not have to change, but you have to understand it. You need to recognize it and understand it. And if you can understand why you're doing something, or why your body's craving something, or why the habit's there, then you can live with it, change it, or do whatever. Right. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, I'm going to quit smoking this year. It's my resolution.
I like how he put his smoking voice
right?
on.
I want to quit smoking, right? And the bottom line is, and your Anthony Robbins gurus, why? You're who's the why guy? Know your why. Simon Sinek, right? That's not necessarily it. You have a habit. Your body is craving something. You're replacing something. It's a reward. There's a shot of dopamine that's coming. Mm-hmm. The question is what is the habit? And do it right. Breathing is a good habit, right? When I before I lost some weight, before I was on a CPAP machine, I didn't know that I stopped breathing a lot. To where, my family's like, oh, you should really be dead. Right. So I didn't know. I had a habit of stop breathing during sleep, to the point where I wasn't getting good enough sleep.
A bunch of comments flying in.
Yeah, of course we will. Right. But the idea is, I had to recognize something, I was like, I think he stops. Right. So the habit of breathing when I slept, we had to recognize it.
But is breathing a habit, or is it controlled by our auto nervous system?
It's a habit.
It's a habit.
Yeah.
So you could go look that up and define habit as breathing as
it's like
habit.
Pooping, right? We just read it, right? It's like your daily poop. That's a habit. Your body has habits that keep it alive, routines that keep it alive. Your heart beating is a habit.
Is it?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't it be?
because there's no control over it. There's no, it happens whether you want
So
it
you
to or
have
not.
control over pooping.
Well, you basically better have at some point. Otherwise, we'd be in trouble here in the studio.
Right? Your body, if you don't, then you get what?
Well, it's
Sepsis and die. So
Yeah.
pooping is a way your body keeps itself alive.
Yeah, for me, I have an issue with that because your automatic nervous system controls certain parts of your body. Breathing is one of those things that is going to happen whether you didn't create the habit of breathing. You came out of the womb and you took a breath.
I didn't say the habits were you created habits.
Well, I think it's
That's what a lot of
very
people
broad
feel.
definition of it. I think a habit is more a repeated activity that you have control of it. Skinner says habits are choice oriented, and I agree with Sheena on that. That there are some habits you're going into breathing and heartbeat and some of these things, they're going to happen whether you want them to or not. You can control breathing, but when you're sleeping, you didn't choose to stop breathing. Your habit wasn't broken. Your airway closed.
Right. But again, let's go back
Right.
to define habit. You're saying what you're saying is you're calling a habit your choices.
Yeah.
That's the reward for what your body needs. That's the reward for that shot of dopamine.
But
is
you
what
create it. You create those habits.
No, you create the reward. The habit's there. You don't create habits. Habits are there. You create rewards for what your body needs to survive, so that it gets that shot of dopamine, right? Habits are there.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree. Let's move on.
I think this is good. Why step away from it?
Breathing is not a habit. Breathing happens automatically. It is not something that's created. A habit is something that you create. When you're a child and you cry and you get fed, it creates the habit of crying to get fed. Breathing happens whether you want it to or not. And if you don't want it to, well, then your life ends.
So you disagree with a behavior pattern acquired by frequent repetition or psychological exposure that shows itself in regularity or increased facility of performance, the daily bowel habit. You disagree with that then?
I agree that you create a habit that your bowel movement happens at the same time. If it's when you get up in the morning, you go sit on the john, you do your thing. But if you didn't do that, eventually, if you're eating enough, the crap's going to come out, regardless if you do it at the same time of day every night, regardless if it happened. Your body's going to get rid of it.
So again, you're going back to, you're standing firm that habits are not psychological. Habits are, you make those habits.
Absolutely psychological. Breathing's not psychological. Breathing happens. Breathing happens. It's not something it's not a habit.
Your conscious mind says breathe.
No,
Oh,
you can with,
but your subconscious mind does.
With breathing, it's controlled by a different part of your brain. It's controlled by the medulla oblongata. Is that what it's called? Your breathing, your heartbeat, and 2 or 3 other muscle contractions. Those are controlled by your limbic system. They have nothing to do with breathing. Now, with breathing, you can change your breathing. You can control your breathing. Lamaze breathing when you're having a baby. You can control breathing.
So habits for you.
Not for me. It's the way it is. It's not a habit. It happens. If it doesn't happen, you're dead. Break the habit of breathing. Go ahead, try it.
Right.
If we can break a habit, then you should be able to break the habit of breathing.
I can.
Well, yeah, you'll die.
No, I can hold my breath for whatever. I've broken the habit of breathing.
But you're eventually going to breathe, regardless if you want to or not. Your heart's going to beat, regardless if you want it to or not.
That's a good habit.
It's not a habit. It happens. Habits are things that.
Habits are man-made, you say.
Yes.
Habits are actions that only you yourself can make.
Is a habit the same as a vice?
Right? So you're saying yes, it's the same
With
as a
regards
vice.
to those things, I'm not even answering that. I just read it.
Right. So, but you're saying what you're saying, the way that you're defining habit is yes, that is the same as a vice because you've created it.
No, in my mind, you need to separate automatic nervous system events like breathing, heartbeat out of the habit world. They're not habits.
I see what you're saying, Coach, but I think with that, the distinction that it feels like you're making, but not necessarily saying, is we want to focus on the ones that we can have more control over, because I understand completely what Ken is saying. Your breathe, all of that are habits because they're things that happen habitually that are necessary in order for us to survive. The ones you're talking about are the same thing. It's something we do that we feel we need to survive. It's just we have more choice in those activities that we're taking to necessitate our survival versus the ones that happen automatically, but they're both still habits.
Again, agree to disagree. You're not going to change my mind on that one.
All right.
So earlier in the show, we can go back and watch it together. Earlier in the show, you said, no, there's no bad habits. Everything is subconscious. It just, your subconscious brain just takes over. And so that's what you started the show with. But now you're saying, okay, it really, these habits don't have anything to do with the subconscious.
Subconscious and auto nervous system are two separate things. Your subconscious is not controlling your breathing. You can take control of your breathing. Your breathing is controlled by your auto nervous system. It's not a habit. It's automatic. It is based on automatic. It happens from the moment you come out of the womb to the moment you die. Can you change your breathing? Can you control your breathing? You can, but if you want to break that habit, you're dead, right? So therefore, if one habit can't be broken, no habits can be broken. So you break the habit.
I agree.
Heartbeat.
I agree. I don't think a habit can be broken. I would agree with that.
I think we need some outside input.
Right.
Here. Is breathing a habit? Is heartbeat a habit? Come on, fill us in.
Right. So Ted says, when I do a habit, I want to stop. I make myself do something I don't like right after it. Eventually, it becomes a quit habit because I don't want to keep doing the thing I don't like. Okay. We tend to associate
choices.
Who we are unconsciously with habits, good and bad. So when we want certain comforts, for example, our unconscious says what has given us that in the past. So like an auto run, it goes into without consciously thinking about it. My mind then associates doing the bad habit with the consequence for doing it. Shana says, I had a habit of leaving lights on in every room I left. I was oblivious. My husband coached me past that habit, and I am well-adjusted adult now. You can kill a habit. Okay, function is not a habit. All right, so Shana is saying function is not a habit. Okay, right. I don't agree. A habit formed and your homeostasis is natural. Okay, habits are choice oriented. You are in the womb with homeostasis. It is not a habit. With that train of thought, dying is a habit. I would agree. Dying is a habit. Why? Because as soon as you're born, you're dying.
Yeah.
Simple.
True. We're born to die. I mean,
you die every day.
Finally said something I can agree with.
Right. Today. Breathing technique can be purposeful, but not breathing itself.
Correct. And that's the point I'm trying to make here. Breathing's going to happen. You can create a deep breathing habit. You can create with running, with athletes, we teach them how to breathe and create a habit of breathing rhythms. But breathing's going to happen whether you want it to or not. It's not a habit. It's not a choice. You can't change it. You can't break it. It's not a habit.
So as Merriam-Webster says, so I'm going to go back to Merriam-Webster, where it says that the daily bowel movement is a habit. You all are saying that is not a habit.
It's a function.
You're saying, so you're disagreeing with Merriam-Webster's definition of habit.
You can take the function and create it as a habit. When you do it at the same time every day, it becomes a habit at that time of day. But if you don't do it at that time of day, eventually you're going to crap, regardless. Eventually you're going to pee, whether it's in a urinal out on a tree or in your
Right. So you're not saying that pooping is the habit. You're saying the time of day you poop is the habit.
Yes, it's a function. Your body can't live without it. You can't create that habit. You can't break that habit. You can break the habit of what time you poop or when you poop or how you poop, but it's going to happen. You put enough.
So you can't break that habit.
No, you can't, not that habit of pooping itself. It's a function. It's a
wait, no.
function.
You just said the habit of pooping itself.
That's why you can't change the habit. There's no habit there.
But you just said you can't break that. You understand what I'm saying here,
You're
folks?
not a lawyer.
You understand what I'm saying here,
Go back
folks?
to your earlier
Right?
lady and go down and get in the court and get involved in there and stop turning my words around. When function is not a habit, function's going to happen.
Right.
The time
listen.
of day, you can create a habit of the time of day you do
Okay,
it.
so listen to what I'm saying. And Luke's going to say breathing. If you break it, you die. So you breathe again. So you're not, quote unquote, breaking the habit. Exactly. And I am standing firm to say you can't break habits. You change rewards for habits. You can't break habits. Okay? You can't. You can change rewards. You can decide, as Ted said, hey, I do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What I'm saying is you can't break habits. The habit of pooping, the habit of breathing,
There's not
the
a
habit of hair
pooping.
growth.
There's a habit of when you poop. There's a habit of where you poop, but there is not a habit of pooping itself. Pooping itself will happen eventually if you eat enough. If you stop eating, maybe you can control pooping.
So your body creates habits to keep itself alive.
Yes.
Thank you. I think your mind creates habits for different reasons. Some of your mind creates because you need to survive. We train our mind to create other habits that we find comforting. Atomic Habits is a great book, by the way, to read.
It's a good one.
Perhaps will help you understand a little bit where the idea of where I'm coming from too, right? Homostasis is, I don't even know what homostasis is. And it is National Coming Out Day. So homostasis, congratulations, Lisa. We also may create in our mind habits as defense mechanisms too.
True.
Scott Giles says, good morning, guys. Have a great show. I've got a packed day, which he also says habits are learned. Okay, I know. I think the way we reward what our body needs in our habits is
Just to help you out.
Right.
Homeostasis is a term that refers to the regulation and maintenance of a stable internal environment within an organism. It involves various processes that work together to keep your body's system in balance. Homeostasis is
a series of habits.
no, it not. Did it say habits in there? It did not say habits in there. The regulation of the maintenance of a stable internal environment. It is what your body does to keep you alive. Breathing to keep you alive, pooping to keep you alive, peeing to keep
All
you
very
alive,
good habits.
eating. They're not habits.
Right.
And we're wasting everybody's time by
I don't
being
think
stuck
so.
on that. So I think we are. But
No,
that's-
I can see
so
you're
we can
I can see
disagree.
you're getting upset.
Well, I am. You have a regular space, and this is what made our show so good before, when we could piss each other off. And really good.
Right. What is the true meaning of habit?
There we go.
A settled tendency or usual manner of behavior. Her habit of taking a morning walk, an acquired mode of behavior that has become nearly and completely involuntary. Would you agree with that?
Well, absolutely, because
Okay.
it started as a behavior, as breathing a behavior. Is it a behavior?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. I think so. A habit to go 10 toes down on something you are wrong on is definitely something to look at. I don't understand that. Survival is natural survival, not the same. You do die every day. Okay, true. All right. You have the habit of dying every day. Who says Webster's right? Well,
Fair
Google does. Is a cycle, not a habit. Semantics come to play when the argument is silly. Okay. I'm actually saying that breathing is not a habit. I agree, it's a function.
Luke, I love you, man. You need to. When are you coming back up? You said you're going to be up here in a couple of weeks.
Okay,
Mhm.
so let's talk about it's a function. Okay, so give me a habit that you feel is not a function. Give me, let's go. It's you can't breathe. You can't break a function of breathing. So give me a habit that's not a function. Give me. Let's walk down this aisle.
Thoughts?
I
We've
don't
been
know.
monopolizing everything here. You're a guest. We should be leaning on you a little more. So a
Crickets.
function that's not a habit, or a habit that's not a function.
Heroin.
Let's go back to something you said earlier.
Be more specific with heroin, if you could, please.
No, I said hair growth. You said hair growth is a habit. Your hair is going to grow regardless of whether you want it to or not.
Mhm.
Or it's not going to grow regardless if you want it. How you shape it, how you create it.
Okay, so that's a function. Okay,
The
so let's go to a
function is
habit
hair
that's not a
growth.
function that you're saying.
Well,
That's what I'm asking.
Smoking's not a function. I mean, that's one we pick on a lot. Your daily walk at the same time is not a function. There's two. You want more?
Okay, so how do you break the habit of a daily walk?
You don't walk anymore.
You have to walk. You're going to sit. I mean, unless you're like Ted and you're bound to a wheelchair. So he doesn't have the habit of walking.
What we're talking about.
Right. So I can sit all day, right? And so you're saying to break the habit of walking, going on a walk, I would have to be bound to a wheelchair then.
No, not at all. When we talk about the habit of walking, exercise, walking itself is a function that's going to get you from here to there.
Okay.
But the referring to-
You just said exactly it. Walking is a function, but we have a habit of walking. All right, let's try something else then. Smoking.
Go ahead.
Okay. So how do we break the habit of smoking?
Get lung cancer, throat cancer.
One. How many people do we know who have cancer and still smoke, right? I mean, we can go down that road. But what I'm saying is, how do you break a habit? How do you break a habit that's not a function?
Well, and that really is the point we should be trying to bring out here, is how do we break the habits we don't want to break, instead of getting caught up in defining what is a habit, what is not a habit. How do you take control of the habits you want to control?
Which one? Where?
The one down.
Thank you, Shayna.
So Demond has a habit of elevating the show. He's broken that habit. Is that what you're saying? How did you do that today, Demond?
I don't know.
Right. So drug abuse is a habit. How do you break that habit?
What did Luke say?
Right?
He does that all the time. He lives for that. He said he was going to stop doing that this
No,
year. That was his New Year's resolution, but he's being a real pain in the ass.
I understand.
Does anybody agree with me on
Listen,
that?
I understand. It's it's an election year, but we got a lot of flip-flopping going on, right? And I'm not flip-flopping.
Oh, yes, you are.
I'm not flip-flopping. Listen, I don't think you can change a habit. You can change the reward for what the habit may be, right?
Now you're really getting into the difference between habits and default behaviors. I think a long-term habit becomes a default behavior that we fall back on. Shane says group hug.
Right? Right? Habits are created to keep us alive and give us comfort.
Well, but
right?
True.
And keep us alive in a comfortable manner. Okay? Habits are created that way, right?
True.
right?
But I think
Yeah.
the bigger point here is that you get something in your mind that's right, and you're not going to listen to anybody else, no matter what we say. You're just going to find out a way to make it.
No,
Oh yeah, no, I've
Okay.
seen it before.
okay.
You've got it in your mind that you're right, and you're not going to listen.
No, I don't think
taking
that.
your
I don't think
position.
that I'm right. I don't think that I'm right.
Then why
That's
are you
the-
saying it?
that's why we're discussing, because there's been a lot of opinion thrown today, and in today's
Right.
world we have a habit of leaning on opinion rather than research, knowledge, or anything of that nature, right? And that's what gets a lot of people upset, is because as I try to communicate and talk and debate on my opinion, I get upset because your opinion isn't agreeing with my opinion,
100%.
right? Now,
Yep.
over the last several months, I can say that I have put in hundreds of hours studying habits. The habit doesn't mean that I'm right, but it means that I have done a ton of research over the last 5 months on habits, on rewards for habits, on what a habit is, by
Right.
several professionals, right? And that's where I'm saying that's where my stance is on the research that I have done. Right now, to say, how do you break a habit? You first got to understand what a habit is, right? And you also first have to understand, what is it that I feel. Why do I need to have a cigarette right now? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the easiest way to break a habit of smoking: stop buying them. That's the easiest way.
Yep.
Right? If I don't have them, I can't reward what my body needs with a cigarette.
But does that change the habit, or does that just change the availability of the
It
habit?
changes the reward for the habit. My body needs something. It's got a habit to stay alive, right? It creates a need for something. And I've taken that
Yep.
need for something and made the reward. And that's where I think the man-made habit is the reward, right? So that's what I'm saying. I cannot buy cigarettes. My body will crave nicotine,
Mm-hmm.
okay, because I'm now addicted to it, because what it originally craved when I started, I replaced with cigarettes. Whether it was a deep breath and understanding the anxiety I was in, the sadness I had, the joy I had, whatever the case may be. And I said, cigarette. You stop buying them, you stop smoking. Simple as that.
Yep.
Right? Simple as that. Now, I can replace the need for nicotine with nicotine gum, with a nicotine mint, with whatever.
Patch.
A patch, little pouch, whatever the case may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but the habit of needing that nicotine, the body needing that nicotine, is still there.
Well, I'm afraid, folks,
Right.
you're going to have to tune in next week to find out more on how to change your habits.
Right.
So at the end of the show.
Right. So that's Shayna, mine was trauma bound. Oh, you guys are having something in there. What is habits are created to fill a need. Okay. Toxic or healthy. The consequence to the choice is what creates decisions, hence addiction, and why enabling hinders. There is not a consequence great enough as need is fulfilled. Right. So then Shayna comes back and says, what's the most difficult habit that you replaced, changed, broke? What did it do for you in the end? Were there supports involved from others? And again, what's the habit that you replaced, changed, broke? The rewards are different, right? So quitting sugar, stop eating sugar, right? I rewarded that with drinking water. Okay. And I rewarded it with going, why do I think I need sugar right now? What is it that my body's telling me I need? Do I really need sugar right now? The answer is no. Right? The answer was no.
Right.
Now, there were times in the day where it's like, my blood sugar, I could feel it getting low. So you're like, let me have a cup of coffee, or let me have a, let me have a protein bar that's got a little sugar in it or whatever,
Right.
a few grams of sugar, whatever, right? But the idea is, I don't think, and I will stand firm on this, I don't think you break habits. I think you break rewards for what your body is asking for, what you have, as coach would say, created a habit for. Right?
Right.
That's what I have come to learn in my research.
So the way I'm interpreting what you're saying is that the actions that we use are not the habit. The habit is what our body craves, what our
Correct.
body wants. And our actions to suffice that are just actions that in and of itself are not the habits.
Yep. That's what I say.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to
Mull that over a little bit.
I'm not going to get anything done today. This is going to be.
Let's see. Okay. Truth is, you need to understand what need was there. Okay. Right. That's what I'm saying. At that time, why do I think that I need to eat a row of Oreos right now? I don't. Right.
It's a competition.
Right. Why do I think I need a cigarette right now? What's my body asking for? What position am I in?
Right.
Right. So there's always habits. Your body, again, I will stand on the fact that your body creates habits to keep itself alive. That's what your brain does. Right. Your brain is there to keep you alive. Right. And it has created habits to keep you alive. Now, some may call them functions. Some may say, no, that's your epilogical thing. Right. That your body has created habits to keep yourself alive. Right. And so that's why we have a habit of living indoors. So that dinosaurs.
Before we sign out, there's a new listener up there that I hadn't seen before. Groovy Jimmy Groovy.
Groovy Jimmy. And what's happening? It's all about the bread for me. Can't let no habit get in the way of the money. Right? Well, it depends. Again, what's your reward?
Yeah.
What's your reward? So your body needs that shot of dopamine. Your body needs that, right? Fight or flight. Why does that trigger? That's a habit, right? When you get into a position to fight or flight, you're going to do one of the two.
Yeah.
Or freeze.
Or three.
Or freeze.
Or freeze.
Right? So those are, and it's meant to do that to keep you alive. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah.
And there are some times where your habit is, I'm going to freeze. Somewhere I'm going to fight. Somewhere I'm going to run. Right? So and what's your reward? The reward is, I got to stay alive. So I'm going to hide under the bed so that the guy with the axe doesn't know that I'm here. Right? So
probably a smart idea.
So, but we'll keep up with this because I think it's a good conversation, right? Because again, with my research, what I've done over the last 4 or 5 months is I think this is my opinion. I think that we have said the reward for what our body needs is the habit. Right. That's my opinion.
So habit's not an action, it's a result.
No, it's not what I said. I said
sounded like that's what you said.
No.
The reward is the result of the habit.
We'll go back to, we can watch it. We'll rewind this and watch it together. But the habit's there. We have mistakenly tagged the reward as the habit.
I gotcha. Okay. I thought you were saying that reward was the habit.
That's what you wanted me to say.
I want you to shut up. I mean, if there's anything I wanted.
Right. And so that's where, again, my opinion, that's how I feel and I believe with what I have found in my research on habits. Simple. Right. So, and it's good. And I love the conversation. And if I irritated people, good. That's okay. Yeah, it's correct. It's a response. not survival. It's a response to keep you alive, to survive. Right. Oops, I mean, not a habit. Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Tongue in cheek. Yep. Your mind creates the habits necessary to live. Our life experience creates habits we don't need. We create them. Again, I think they say in what I was saying. But listen, it's good stuff. 2024 is going to be a good year for everybody, right? I'm excited. I'm sorry that I upset you this morning. I didn't mean to upset you this morning, but
And for the last show of two bald guys,
right? Coach's last one. We got two bald guys still. Tomorrow and I can do this. Right? Listen, there's good stuff happening all the time here at 21.6. We've got today, probably later, we've got Idea Climbing with Mark Carter tomorrow at 11. We've got Roger That Chronicles, The Grounds on Friday morning, The Bridge, Innovative Strategies. We've got the Neighborhood Pulse on Saturday morning. We've got just a ton of great shows. We've got Leveling Up, The Art of Leveling Up Your Life, Your Business with Cappuccino. We've got, you heard right before us here, The Purpose Hunter every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7. With Matt Barafato. We've got Nick Espinoza, Nick Espinoza, and the Deep Dive. Still great stuff every Tuesday at 5. Just, you've got to tune into that. He is literally going over some serious big ideas. The latest show was is about AI and all of the misinformation that's out there, and how there's an entire generation of people who are growing up under misinformation and not understanding what not AI is, right? And deep fakes and things like that. And did they really say that? Right. So there's a lot of things out there. Great show. We just come back. We've got more shows coming in. We've got a cool show by a young lady. It's Big Body, Bigger Mouth. She is fantastic. And that's going to be kicking off soon. We've got some local students at the junior college who are going to be doing a podcast as well, just getting some really cool things going. In the near future, too, we're working with Think Big, Go Local. Bobby Bainey is going to have a show with us, which is great, about marketing and whatnot for your business. And we are working with them to update and upgrade, level up our website. So hopefully by the end of this month, we'll have a whole new website. It's going to be pretty cool. Just a lot of good things happening here at 216 in 2024 that I know that you're going to want to be a part of. Keep giving us hate, keep giving us love. You can yell at me. I love you all for yelling at me. That's fine. That's healthy for me, right? And I appreciate that, because you all give me things to think about, right?
Lisa's.
What's that? Which one?
Lisa's right there, but next to the cursor.
That one. For those who only listen to Kent, I have a show on Sunday mornings. He regularly forgets to. No. I look. She comes on, and I said that, right? Living outside the box. That's Lisa's Changing Perceptions. I bring her up anytime that I see you, because that is a fantastic show as well. It is. It's a great show. The pianos over Christmas was great. We're gonna have some more live streaming events like that. We are this close to being done at our new studio with Piano Trends. It's going to be called The Streets. It's going to be cool. As soon as we have that up and running.
So we'll have the street people in there?
We'll have some of the street people in there. Absolutely. So, listen, we can't thank you enough for your time. I know we're a little bit over, but it's our station. We can do what we want to do, right? We absolutely love each and every one of you. We wish and pray and hope that you have the 2024, the best year of your entire life, one day at a time. And that we're just blessed that you allowed us into your ears and into your hashtag pocket computers. Yeah. If you've got a habit of letting me ruin your day, I apologize. break that habit. For all of us here, 21.6 and that, and
Two ball guys and a
Well,
microphone.
this is Tim Stewart. I am Coach Pop, and I do approve most of this message. God bless. Travel safe. Make this your best day yet. Get off the bench and get back in the game.